All right, what's going on, y'all? Y'all tuned into the 5100 podcast.
Yes, sir.
You got CJ100, that's me. You got Testify, and we got a special guest, man. Talk to him. Tell him your name.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jeff. Just trying to drop a little knowledge with everybody that's around the place.
All right, so check this out. So today, we got a special topic to me because I'm a father. I wasn't raised with my father, but I had to experience my father later on in life. So we're going to call this episode the importance of fatherhood. So, y'all can jump in. We got topics we can go on in it, but let's just have a free conversation.
And just hearing that for the first time, I've got a cousin of mine that was in the same situation as you.
Right.
He didn't know his dad until he got to be like 18.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad comes back into his life.
Right.
And wants to do this and do that. And he's like, you know him.
Okay.
But my cousin was like, why are you coming so far in the past? And I need you back back in the day.
Right.
I need the guidance back then.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And because fathers are here to provide the guidance. Fathers are sit up here and put their foot in your ass when you need that foot in your ass. Fathers are here to sit up and show you the love. Your mother can show you love, but fathers show you love too.
Right.
And to get a fatherly love and motherly love are two totally different things.
Yes, sir.
Real talk. What you say?
I can say I grew up with my father my whole life.
Okay.
I mean, from the time that I was born to now, he's still around.
Right.
I can still talk to him about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Our relationship was a little rocky at times because I think we looked at respect in two different ways sometimes. He always looked at me as the little boy. And it took me finally standing up, and not in a disrespectful way.
Right.
It was just, I'm my own man too. I pay all my own bills.
Right.
I work. I got my own stuff.
Right.
And once I showed him that, our relationship been A1 ever since.
And see, to that point, we talk about this all the time.
Yep.
Respect is not I like you. Respect is not I favor you. It's earned.
Yes,
It's
sir.
like you can't fake it. It's like, so you had to earn that respect with your father. So that's kind of a good segue. So I wanna speak to this. As far as being a father and having a family, how should a family be formed, in y'all opinion?
I mean, I'll take that one off the top. I think that ideally a family should be planned.
Okay.
Most of us as being black people, I feel that we are reacting.
Right.
We react. I mean, we'll mess around like, oops, I got a pregnant, so now I got to sit up and do this, that, and this.
Mm-hmm.
I've got two sons myself, and I'm egging them on. I need a grandchild. I'll help you take care of them. Hell, I'll take care of my damn self. Shit. Give me one. Give me one. I'll take care of them. I'll adopt them.
Right.
But it's where that's their life.
Yeah.
And you have got to plan your life. I mean, me being the age I am right now, I can understand that if I had planned my children, it would have been totally different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why people have children at a later age.
Right.
I mean, you got people that have children when they're in their 30s or late
Right.
30s
White
and
folks
early
do that a lot.
40s.
White folks do that a lot.
Real talk.
It's a plan.
Right, because you got it planned.
Right.
And with most everything in your life, anything that you want to accomplish in life, if you don't have a plan for, you will plan to fail.
Every time.
Right.
Real talk.
And I think with me, now I said when my biggest thing was I wanted to be married before I had a child.
Right.
And I got nieces and nephews and, my brothers and sisters not married to the mothers and fathers of their kids. And I see the turmoil that they go through. Mm-hmm. So my biggest goal was before I have a child, I want to be a married man and I want to have something set up for myself. And when me and my wife got married, we had plans on having a child. It's just that was never the focus. Let's set up a foundation first and then build from there.
Exactly.
So
Foundation, right.
knowing that these goals becoming accomplished, it make me feel better as a man because I feel like I stuck to my principles and I had my goals in order, and now I'm reaching them. That's the best feeling in the world to me because now I don't feel bad because I'm ripping and running trying to figure it out.
Right.
I understand it because I had a goal, I reached the goal, and now it's on the up and from there.
Okay. For me, I did the same. I just did it really young, but what I realized is, yes, the marriage is important. The actual having a child and wedlock is important, but just what is just and equally as important is picking the right woman.
100%.
And
Exactly.
I chose the woman with the fat ass. And this is not to knock her because in her own way she's a damn good woman.
Right.
But she wasn't right for me, and I knew it in the back of my mind, but I tried to make it work. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Versus
that's what real men do, though. Real men try to make shit. I mean, I tell my kids that this is one motto, and I share this with CJ.
Yeah.
Real men make shit happen.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I don't give a damn what it is. Real men gonna make shit happen.
Right.
Go ahead, Chase.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, basically what he said, but it came down to the point where it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? But I can say that it made a difference because I wasn't absent for anything. Like now I'm going through a battle, but as far as my child being what's the word they use when you making the baby? What's the word?
Conceive.
Yeah.
From conception.
The good part.
You know, the best part.
Yes,
you know what
sir.
I'm saying? But I was there for all the visits to the doctor. I was the first one to see her. I cut the cord. I stayed when I stayed at the hospital. Went to work from the hospital. I've had the rough days with her when I didn't know what the hell to do with a baby. You know what I'm saying? To wait till her mama get home from school. I went through all this, so it's like it makes a difference in a father when you're there with the woman. Like the relationship needs to be good, but that really matters, man.
Yep.
It really does.
So let's see. What is the role, like the actual role of the father? How do you define it, and what should a father do?
By me growing up around my father,
Okay.
I was always seeing the things he did. You know, he always took me on his construction jobs, or he would always give me responsibilities that I didn't understand when I was younger. Why I gotta feed the dog? Why I gotta? Yeah,
Right,
you know, you asking all
right.
these questions because you
Take the
don't
trash out.
Your hands work.
exactly
Right.
like pops on Friday.
Right.
Like why I gotta go get your ice? You know what I'm saying?
You the remote control.
Exactly.
That's the number one term right
Real
there.
talk. And man, just seeing some of the tasks that he would give me when I was younger, it's something you don't understand. But once you get older and you see the lessons he was trying to teach you, you really start being like, okay, I understand why I had to take the garbage out. I understand why I had to go get this wood. And he was in the house in the bed.
Because you still doing it to this day.
Exactly. Right. That's the thing that we don't see when we 19, 18, whatever, because you don't see the value of the lesson in it. And once you get old and you start becoming the person that's finna start teaching the lesson,
right,
it changed the whole mindset.
Yeah. I think that role of a father is with it a provider.
Okay.
Encourager.
Mm-hmm.
Leader.
Mm-hmm.
Compromiser. Facilitator.
Disciplinarian,
all that.
Yes,
you know?
sir.
And all those adjectives I just used right there could encompass a whole lot of things in different people's minds. But it's where that you've got to sit up and determine which one is more important at that particular time when you're dealing with certain situations with a child.
It's changing. It's always multifaceted.
It's always, you wear different hats with being a father.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, you sit up here, sometimes you got to sit up here and cry with your child.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to sit up here and hold your child. Sometimes you got to go out there and play with your child. But
right.
The one common denominator in that is that you are always there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, I like I said, I've gone through a custody battle, but it's for me, it's you're looked at as the hero. You're looked at as like dad can do anything, and I didn't have my dad most of my life, but I had great uncles, and I had he was an asshole grandfather, but he was a man at the end of the day. Like,
right.
the personality, it matters, but it doesn't matter to the definition of what a man is.
It's like an outline. When
Right,
you back in
right,
school, you know,
right.
You got the A, B, and C, but
Right.
then up under A, you got that 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
But it's really the A, B, and C that matter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The
Right,
bullet
right,
points.
right.
And
Bullet points.
I just remember I asked him for some money, and he'd be like, "What you think you was, a woman or something? Like, get out there and cut that yard. I'll give you some money." You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
And it was like I was like, "Well, you give it to her all the time," because it's like what he was explaining to me was that's how the world is to her.
Yep.
When you get out here, you looked at, and you a black man on top of it, but you definitely looked at as you have to provide, bro. Like, your family one day is gonna look at you, and that's what my daughter, like, when she does stuff, I always catch her. She'll peep at me, and then be like, "Is it okay?" You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I got a story on that, what he was just saying.
Okay.
And it's where that, I remember when I was like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
And I've got a sister too.
Mhm.
And so I got a sister and it's me.
Just y'all two.
Just us two.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, we were both living at home with my mom. I'm like 18. No, probably about 19, because I went to Lemoyne on. I was staying in
Okay.
HBCU.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. Lemoyne on.
Yes,
Okay,
Yes,
man.
sir.
And my dad stood up here and came to me one day. It's time for you to start paying some bills. I like, oh, pay some bills.
I'm your
saying
son.
that shit. I'm that damn right. I'm your son. I said, what the fuck you mean? Pay some bills.
Yeah.
Fuck you mean?
Yeah.
And my sister ain't paying no bills.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is a real story I'm telling you. And he like, you're not your sister. He like, you a man.
Yeah.
You know? And men take care of business.
Right.
And I like, what? I like, you know what? If I gotta pay, I may go pay my own bills. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go and get my own spot.
Yep.
Yep.
And-
That's
and-
it. That's
That's
it.
it.
And you
Yep.
know what? I look at that time in my life as being a kickstart for me.
Yep.
It was a kickstart for me to sit up here to turn something in my head and let me know that I've just transformed from being a boy to a man.
Yeah.
And I think to go off the previous story I told, that was that flashpoint for me.
Me too.
Once I had that stand-up moment, not disrespectful,
Right.
it was like, okay, now that you leaving home, you got to be the man and step up now.
Yeah.
You got to be the king of your own castle.
That's
and
a
whether
fact.
it succeed, get raided, and burned to the ground, going to be up to you.
It's all up to you, and that's what a man is.
Yep.
See, and I really believe, and we'll touch on this a little later, but this is where I believe we're at right now. It's like men have switched the role. It's like nowadays you got niggas laying up on the women, and they taking care of them.
Been doing that shit for years.
Right. Well, okay.
They've been doing that shit
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
dog.
It's like it's more prevalent
Pronounced
now.
now.
It's more prevalent now because it you know, back in the day when I was growing up,
Mhm.
my dad was there, and if you're in a household where your dad and your mom is there, it's a totally different mindset than it is when there's a mother by herself
Yep.
trying to raise a child by herself and sitting up here trying to make ends meet by herself and sitting up here trying to do everything that's up on the sun by herself. And to raise a goddamn kid, it takes two.
Yeah.
You can do it with one because throughout the ages, it's been done by one.
Check this out. Chris Rock, it's a joke, but Chris Rock said, you know what I'm saying, you can drive with your feet if you want to. It's not a good fucking idea. Like you can do it, but at the end of the day,
Right.
you want to raise a child with two parents. That's it's statistics that show a child raised with both parents has a better chance to succeed in life.
Yep.
So what about the situation where that? I mean, I'm going to throw myself out there as far as me and my family, and it's where that, you know, me and my kid's mom, we were cool as hell back in the day, and then after a while we grew apart.
Right.
And I know we're talking on, but at the same time, it's where that I had to realize that as people grow, you mentally grow. It's like a pair of shoes. I mean, you're 10 years old, you can't wear those same pair of shoes when you're 20 years old.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as you grow, your mentality grows. It should anyway.
That's the key word.
It should grow, and for most people, it's about values and where you want to grow.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? If you want to grow and be that ass shaking bitch out there on the fucking streets, or you want to be that woman that goes to work and sit up here and provide for a family and sit up here and provide some stability and some foundation, like you said earlier, Ted. It's what that's your choice you got to make. And my dad sit up here. I'm gonna tell you this story, and this is the story my dad told me. I swear to God, this is what he told me.
Okay.
I walked through the house one day, right? Coming home from high school, I'm about 17 years old, high as a kite. Man, I had just put the joint down. Back then, it wasn't no blunts; it was joints back then. But goddamn, so we come in, me and my cousin, we come in the house, and my dad, he already know. You know, damn, what the hell y'all been doing? You know, eyes red as hell, smelling like big weed. Just got the damn tree.
Smell like a damn tree.
Man, smell like a damn tree.
Yeah.
And my dad said, sit down.
Uh-oh.
He pulled out a poster board. I don't know if many people know what a poster board is.
Well, I know what, yeah.
But he pulled out a poster board, and he drew on that poster board, like, look here, this is the Mississippi River. And he drew a line down the poster board and drew one line going this way, one line going this way, just resembling the Mississippi River.
Okay.
And he drew a boat right there on that thing right there on the paper. And he said, I'm in a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are in the boat.
Mm.
You guys are going down the Mississippi River. And you come up to this fork in the Mississippi River.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in this helicopter. And I see to the left, it's turbulence and rocks and it's hard travels in the whole 9 yards. And toward the right, it's smooth sailing.
Yeah.
And he's saying that I'm in this helicopter telling you guys within this radio, go to the right, go to the right, go to the right.
Right.
But you know what? It's our decision to sit up here and decide if we go to the left or the right.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to live with those consequences because you cannot turn in reverse and come back and go back down where you think you should have gone, because it's just a narrow point in your life where you sit up and you got to decide what is right and what's wrong. And that's where values come into play as far as being taught how to be a real man or be a real woman, and that comes from family. And that's one story that I share with my kids when they were coming up, and I hope that they share with their kids when they got kids their own.
Okay, so we've established that the best way to build a family is to plan one.
Mm-hmm.
Is to appreciate what you have. Is to think about the woman you select or the man you select, and to build off of that, with marriage being the bond that keeps it together. That's how it should be done.
Right.
We know that doesn't always work.
It should be done.
But
correct.
okay. So let's just step into the husband shoes, which I think all three of us has been in. So
Right.
How do you handle being a husband to a wife and dealing with what women present in the way that they were brought up and how they play their roles in the household? Like, how do you deal with that as a man? What yes, go ahead, Tim.
All right, so once again, for me, it all came from my father.
Mm-hmm.
My father was married pretty much my whole life to my mother.
Right.
So I seen the things that he had to do, the trials and tribulations with, do I want my lights cut off or do I want my kids to have food? Do I want this brand new car or do I get what I can to take my kids back and forth? So seeing him in some of the trials and tribulations and mistakes that he made opened my eyes to seeing how the type of husband I wanted to be, and especially with the way that stuff is now, the roads kind of get muddied. Sometimes it's, confusion among the ranks. But that's why when you get married, you establish that ahead of time.
Right.
You know, you sit down and talk.
Exactly.
Right.
Baby, what you need from me,
Right.
what I need from you, and we work from here.
And there'll be times where and I not to step in, but I mean there'll be times where that may get kind of cloudy. That may get kind of cloudy as far as what the roles were when you first got together, and then the roles are 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And but at the same time, that's where that compromise comes into play.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I'm it's ironic that I'm here speaking about compromise, but I'm 50 years old and I live every day to learn from the previous day.
Right.
And if you don't learn every day, you just exist.
That's it.
Yep.
That's real talk.
Yep.
Right.
If you don't learn from your previous experiences, from your past, from other people speaking on their past, you just sit up here and exist, and you just going where the wind blows you.
Right. So, boy, it,
I know.
yeah, look,
I went there.
when I was married, there were things that you don't realize until you in the same house with that woman.
Right.
About women.
Right.
My uncle used to always say, when you share a toilet with a woman, and you share a shower with a woman, and you share a bed with a woman, you learn what you really got.
You know who she is now.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real talk.
And that's part of the reason why I'm divorced now. But as far
it made
as
you stronger though.
yeah, definitely, and it made me more selective.
And we should all learn from our past.
You should.
Oh, yes, sir.
And that's what CJ just said. It's what it got him. He went through all this turmoil in his past. Like,
Right.
like the same thing I told you about my dad putting it on paper for me. I could go toward the left or I can go toward the right.
Right.
So if I ever encounter that situation again,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm coming down that Mississippi River again, and I come to a point where he's in a helicopter, and I can sit up here and have that left or right decision to make again, and he's telling me where I need to go, that's where I go, what he tells me to do.
Right.
Real talk.
Right. And so what I would say to young brothers, or it really don't even matter age, it's just you going through the experience of a woman. I think a lot of us let our pride and ego get too much in the way. And I can think of some times where I was like, I'm the man, I do this, versus understanding the situation I was in and just letting it be what it was.
You're right.
And but the biggest thing is ego and pride. And we had an episode about this before, to where that really can knock you off your square, because you're thinking too much. You think your shit don't stink. You think that because you got a dick that you run stuff. That ain't what God said.
No, sir.
I don't remember genitalia being mentioned in the Bible at all.
No.
It's about the role that you have, and it's to lead.
Yes, sir.
And leading, not only where a woman can lead as well.
Right.
And let me just say this here,
Yeah.
because there are plenty of women out there without men
Right.
that's raising children.
Right.
And I like to give out shouts to them, because they've got to play a dual role.
Most
Right.
definitely.
Right.
And the women that's playing a dual role, they need support as well.
Right.
And it's a lot of cats out there that I don't want to fool with a woman that got a kid, this, and that, and this, da, 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 da. But you know what? It's where that makes that woman stronger, because she can understand not only what she needs, but what that child needs.
Right.
And then if she loves you, she know what you need.
Right.
And they sit up here and bring that shit all around
It
360.
take a special kind of woman to do that.
Yeah.
Cause I'm even going through a situation where I'm dealing with a woman with a child, and there is a sense of her that's like, if you gonna deal with me, you gotta deal with a child, and
Right.
and I respect that to the fullest. But me going through the last situation I went through, it's made me more hesitant, and understanding the fact that her being a woman with a child, it's just a different dynamic. You're
Yep.
not dealing
I'm
with a
going
person
through
that's
that
selfish.
right now. Real
Right.
talk. I married my wife when she already had a son,
Right.
and I got 2 sons of my own, and I got my son at home with me now. And it's a totally different ball game, because you don't want to step on any other man's foot.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and it's where that I used to tell my stepson all the time. I like, look here, I'm not trying to replace your dad.
Right.
I'm just trying to be the dad that's here.
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You know, and it's where that I'm here to share the knowledge that I've got with you if you're willing to accept it.
Yep.
Right.
And that's where it starts. We said at the beginning of the show, the foundation.
Right.
The foundation is what you lie down, and you're gonna build everything on top of that. And as far as where my stepson is concerned, is where that, you know, it could have been better.
Right.
It could have been worse.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the end of the day, is where that he's been around a real man.
Right.
Yes,
To
sir.
sit up here and show him what real men do.
Right.
And I'm gonna revert back to what I said earlier: is that real men make shit happen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. So that's a pretty good segue into something that I feel like is our culture today. The baby mama, baby daddy culture versus the mother father culture.
Yes, sir.
So from an OG perspective, 50 up, how we get here, man?
I think we gotten here because of it's not the same mentality that it was coming up in the 70s and the 80s.
And while he's speaking on that, back then, it was less than, I think, 11% of families, the children that were born outside of wedlock. Today, it's 76%. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you know, the statistics I don't have right in front of me, but at the end of the day, all I have is my mental notes as far as what I grew up on.
Right.
And I grew up within the 70s and the 80s, and every household that I went into had a mother and a father. And I could sit up here and spend time over there with my friends and not have to worry about anything as long as I called my mom or my dad and let them know where I was. But nowadays, it's where that I don't know what the statistics are, but I'm sure that it's less than 50% that has a mother and father in their house.
Most definitely.
And that makes a big difference because a man's role in a house is to sit up here and to establish rules, to sit up and establish what you need to be doing every day, to sit up here and let you know when you're doing wrong and give you discipline when you're doing wrong.
Right.
Not to say a mother can't do that, but, you know, it's a different.
It's natural.
You know what?
Man.
When I was coming up, my daddy told me something. If my mama told me something, it was two totally different
Yeah.
ways.
Every time.
That's a fact.
I'm not shitting you.
Yep.
Because my dad say, "Boy, don't you take your ass outside." I ain't going outside.
You're going to test mama.
But you know, my mama sit up here and come and say, "Dad, don't you take your ass outside." I may put a foot outside.
Right. It's different.
Daddy going to break that motherfucker in
You
your
know
ass.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's just a nurturing, because it's just a nurturing part of what women, because that's all you've known your entire life. You know, for the most part, dads. I can't. I asked my mom this shit the other day. I bullshit you not. I asked my mom this shit like 2 weeks ago. Did Daddy ever change my diaper?
Yep, I remember this conversation.
Did he ever change my diaper? And my mom like, I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Because back then it was cloth diapers, partner.
Yeah.
Cloth diapers. Where you
gotta
take
wash
them off.
that
You gotta
shit.
wash that shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't no fucking diaper. You just throw
Throw
that
in
shit
the
away.
garbage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And my mom like, well, I'm sure he did. But I like, you know what, mama? I know who did change my diaper.
Right.
But I know who was there for me as well. That's both of them, my mom and my dad.
Right.
So there are two different roles back when I was coming up, but it all came to be one
Right.
consistent message that was displaced in my household.
Yep.
And my mama had her role, my daddy had his role. But then when they come together, that made me to be the better man or the better child or be better whoever the hell I want to be today.
Right.
Real talk.
On my side, as far as the dichotomy between, you know, the baby mama, baby daddy, and the father and mother thing, like I said, man, I think it also has to do with the media, the radio. A lot of this stuff is being pushed out as you don't need a man, you don't need a woman,
Right.
be your own you, you know, and that's fine for an individual. But when you trying to come together to raise a child, we got to work together here.
Right.
You know, and when you go to the child support courts and stuff like that, you see mostly us.
Yeah.
Yeah, real,
That's a
real
fact.
talk. Real
That's
talk.
a fact.
I mean, the one time I went, and that was for moral support, it wasn't nobody in there but us.
But black folk, right.
Nobody in there but us. And, you know, we in
Why do
there.
you think that is so? Why do you think?
Man,
I went off.
honestly, me personally, I think this was planned. I think the reason why a lot of stuff that's going on now is because the father was taken out of the home during the crack era and the 3 strike laws. Because when you take the authoritative figure out of the neighborhood, that's when chaos happens.
Right.
If a king ain't on the throne, now his realm is thrown into chaos.
So you think it would? I agree with you on that, and then it's like it makes me wonder that when they stood up here, when Bill Clinton came up with this law, now he's
that's the first black president.
That's what they say.
First black president. He the one came up with 3 strikes law, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Got rid of him.
So it makes me think that can you sit up here and think 20 years beyond that law?
Right.
And saying everything, the saying is, this is chess, not
checkers. Come on, man.
And it's where that everything that's sit up here and put into play, there's a long game to it.
Right.
So is it where that when they sit up here and said this law was going to be coming to effect, that they knew the outcome of it?
Right.
Or was it that, hey, it's just some shit that just
we
happened
throwing together?
Right. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
I think fully they knew the outcome. Because when you setting the foundation of no authority figures, you know the chaos going to happen now.
Right.
So now I can punish you for the chaos that we created.
I mean, it's a timeline. When you think about it. I mean, if you pay it like I brought up earlier, the percentage of families in the Black America that was together, that was married, we were strong. You know what I'm talking about? Black Wall Street. And it's not as just, they think of Black Wall Street as just a street. What that is no, it was an economy on its own.
It's a mindset.
Right. Yes, sir. That's where it started at home.
Yep.
And you got that from mama and daddy.
Yep.
And today, I really believe it's a mix of the crime bill, and I also believe it was a mix of welfare, which I understand in a sense of what they were trying to do, because women that were on their own, they needed help.
Yeah.
Right.
Period. Especially in those
white
times.
and black. White and
Yes,
black.
that's a fact.
There's more white people
That's
on
a fact.
welfare than black.
That's a fact.
You can look
that
that
is
up.
a fact. So when you look at that, you think of it. Okay, why was this necessary, and what did it do to the mentality of our women? Okay, nowadays it's still that mentality, and women can make more money than ever. So what is really going on? My opinion is there are too many sucker ass dudes that don't sucker ass niggas that don't want to handle their responsibility.
Yep.
That they want to run from what it is to be a man. And the reason a lot of these brothers are doing it is back to what we said. It wasn't the man that taught them how to do it.
Exactly.
You know, I'm gonna let you in on something real personal with me, and I'm gonna share this on this goddamn podcast.
Okay.
And I mean, you and I have talked about this before, and it's where that my son came to me, and he had to be like 5, 6 years old, and I was supposed to pick him up, and I didn't pick him up, and that's when cell phones first came out, y'all. So don't be laughing at me and shit. That's long ass time ago.
Nokias and shit.
Yeah. That's what I had, Nokia. And that's what makes this story so fucking prevalent to me. But he called me up on my phone. I was at work, and he said, "Dad, I hate you."
Oh man,
I hate you. He's a kid. I hate you.
Why you say it?
He said that because I didn't pick his ass up.
Yeah.
Like I said I was gonna do.
Yeah.
And that was the turning point in my entire fucking life.
Right.
I've grown from that day forward. It was like me being born again because I needed to sit up here and to get his acceptance again.
Because that's a little you.
Yep.
You needed in a way, it was your own acceptance that you needed. That's somebody that you created that didn't ask to be here. And when you let that down, I can't understand men like that.
Me either.
So,
and to let anyone down. I mean, anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's real talk. It's what my word is my bond.
Yep.
Right.
If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And like I said at the first of this show, real men do what?
make shit happen.
Yes, sir.
And
So-
before I leave this fucking show, that's gonna be the motto. I'm gonna put on a fucking shirt
Yeah.
around this something.
Real men make shit happen.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? My son, I tried to get him here today, but he wasn't able to make it. But you know what? I can step in as a real man do what, son? Make shit happen.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I know, son.
It's ingrained in them.
Because that's what we have to teach. And then go on to your next point. And I'll let you go on to your next point.
Okay, so we got a couple more minutes before we wrap this up. So the last point that we wanted to bring up is, okay, we've basically been through how do you make a family? What should a family be? What happened to our family? How to deal with, from a man's perspective, of dealing with the woman in the home. And now we're gonna wrap this up with, how do we get back to that family unit that we once had?
I say we get back to the family unit we once had by starting with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to start with yourself and understand what you want and what you want to portray.
Right.
What you want to see the world to be when you're 50, 60, 70 years old. What it is that you want your kids to be, but you cannot let that deter where your mindset goes. I mean, it's where that you've got to understand that kids got their own place in life and they got their own roles that they want to play.
Yep.
When my son went to not high school, but when he went to college, I had all aspirations for my son going to college and shit. I want him to go do this and be a financial banker, renewable energy. I mean, it's fucking 10 years ago.
They don't know what you're talking about, man.
And you know what? You got to respect that.
Yep.
You've got to respect that. And my dad had, sights for me too, to sit up here and to do what he wanted me to do. But it's where that people growing to be their own person.
Yep.
And it's where that we've got to respect each other's feelings on where they want to take their lives to be. If that make any fucking sense.
It do.
I got you.
But go ahead, Ted.
I would say, for me, I still believe is making sure you have the right person by your side. And that's one thing I can say since I've been married. My wife has been, I call her all this every time, the yin and the yang. I just feel like she balances me when I'm off the Richter scale. And I balance her when she off of her. And because of that, and we come together with the ideals that we want to raise our family with.
Right.
When that child born, we already understand what our goals are. We've already spoken about this. Now, I'm not saying it ain't going to be some audibles along the way. I might have to make that Peyton Manning call. And
Omaha.
Every time. I might have to make that Omaha call and be like, okay, baby, we got to do this now.
Right.
But our foundation has been set to where when my son or daughter gets here, we already understand what we looking for.
But with the black family being so dissected and disrupted in the whole 9 yards, it's where that I think we need to touch on every aspect of it. And, I'm married and Tez is married, so we were both on the same page. So what would you say right here, TJ?
I'll say this. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. For me personally, it's checking my goddamn ego as a man and realizing that the way your woman feels matters just as much as how you feel.
Amen.
And us as men have to do a better job at that. And I believe this just from a you can call it a biblical standpoint or just a going through life standpoint. A man has to lead.
Right.
But leading does not mean everybody get your ass behind me.
Leading does not mean I need to kick your ass type.
Right.
Leading.
Right.
Leading like let me bring you along
It's
with
not,
me type.
It's
leading.
not all testosterone.
Exactly.
It's not all masculine.
Right.
It's a lot to go with it. So look, we're gonna wrap this up, but man, look.
I got one more thing to say on that before you wrap it up.
Okay.
One thing that real men don't say to their kids, this boys and girls, is say that I love you.
Yeah. And it needs to be said more.
Amen.
It needs to be said every time. Every time I get a phone with my kids, I sit up and I tell them that I love them.
And when they do right, I'm proud of you.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
You gotta have that balance between disciplinary and also being a loving, caring. You gotta have both.
Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm very appreciative of our guest Jeff Hunter coming through today.
Amazing, man.
Because we needed.
Hopefully I come back.
Oh,
you will definitely.
Yes, sir.
We needed the OG to come speak to us, and we don't mean original gangster here. We talking about original guys.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying?
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
But we gonna keep doing it, man. The 5100 podcast. We promised y'all this last year, and it's happening.
Yes, sir.
So y'all do y'all thing. Y'all keep listening, and we gonna keep bringing the content. 100.